You will sleep better than you have ever slept. You've never been this relaxed. Are you ready to change your life? I'm Rusty Diamond, certified hypnotist. You don't need to leave your house. You can stay in your bed. You can stay in your favorite chair. You just need a computer or your phone. You can get a hold of me. Stay at home. I'll make your life better.
Hypnosisisgreat.com.
It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker. It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker.
Yo, man. Can't even see me right now. Oh, Miss Rusty. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Public Access Podcast, the podcast here on the Rusty Diamond Podcast Network. And today is Valentine's Day. This kind of looks like boobs.com day. A few things, maybe two things, maybe three things, maybe four things, probably more. But I thought, why not? Why not? Why not? And I thought I'm gonna wear my fucking bathrobe, or not my. It's not really a bathrobe. It's more of uh, a ring robe. But I have two of these because they fucked one up, so they sent me two. So this is kind of a fucked up one because they did that where it's supposed to like go back and then they missed it. It's all, RD for RDRR. And it just covered it. They had it like that. It's fucking. So it's like, I need you to fix this. And they did. And it was awesome. And I need to wear it more because I was just sitting here. So welcome, everybody. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And if you're listening here and you think, I want to be able to watch this, you know what? You can go onto YouTube, find the Public Access Podcast, or maybe you're watching this on YouTube and you see me and you're like, oh shit, I don't want to see this, but you like the content. Then you go anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can find my podcast there, the Public Access Podcast. There's someone else who has Public Access Podcast, but that came out after my show was on. So too bad for them that they don't get a the in the front. Anyway, it's time for me to bring on my special guest. And I'm bringing on my special guest right here, right now. And my special guest right here and right now is Aya. How you doing, Aya?
Aya Hoja in the
Aya
building.
I didn't even
Yeah,
go for it.
I know you didn't. How
I
dare
did.
you? Yeah,
I
like
gave you a half introduction.
yeah, you were just like, here's Aya. Like, well, you
But
know
that's
what? Listen, I love the fact that you're assuming that your listeners and your audience knows who Aya is. I like it. Let's keep it that way. Here's Aya.
you're back. This is your third time on this
That's
show.
true. That's true. Yeah.
So if for some reason this is your first time listening, which maybe it is, you can go back and you can listen to two more.
Yeah, that's right. And listen how awesome and amazing the different types of conversations we have. I really like the fact that we do have just conversations. And I guess that's really essentially what your podcast is all about. So it's good target market.
Right. But that's good that we get to have conversations and we get to do this and we get to wherever we're getting to. And I enjoy it. I enjoy talking with you. So
Me too.
yeah, and we, it's whatever it means for it to be Valentine's Day today and all that. And
Yes. Happy
Yeah.
Valentine's Day, Rusty. How's your Valentine's Day going?
Happy Valentine's Day. It's going pretty well. I've got to just sort of uh do what I've wanted to do today. So I can't really complain. And um I don't know, because it's a day.
Uh, it's
I don't know.
it's like a day like any other day, except just today is Valentine's Day. So,
Yeah. Well, because here's the thing, because I don't celebrate anything. So it's like it's February 14th. But uh that has caused some issues in the past, I must say. Um
like
Telling
what?
someone, for Valentine's Day that I don't celebrate Valentine's Day,
Yeah.
it could be bad. Could
Yeah.
turn out bad. And then, like, oh, you're not gonna get me something on Valentine's Day. Like, no. I'll
Yeah.
get you some other day when I see something and I think it's awesome and it reminds me of you and I want to give it to you right then. I'm going to give it to you right then because one, I'm not going to be able to hold on to it and keep that secret. And two, by the time that I want to give it to you, like, I want to right then because it's useful then. It might not be useful down the road if I have to hold on to it. Because, like me, I would go and probably grab stuff months ahead and just sort of like start getting a pile of stuff that could be good for any types of gift giving occasion, and then just
Hmm.
stockpile
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Hoarding. Yeah. Consumer hoarding. Because
hoarding.
yeah, you're kind of like preparing in advance. Yeah. I sometimes do that. I try not to, but I know my mom does that like way ahead of time. Sometimes she'll start shopping it for in January or February or March or April, anytime but December for December's holidays. And we have a lot of birthdays and Christmas and fun stuff. So she'll be shopping like almost 12 months ahead. So I know what you mean.
Yeah, and like I saw someone the other day in a video. They were a realtor, I think in Virginia or something, and just had like because it was like a storage unit that
Hmm.
someone bought that had lapsed because someone you know defaulted on the payment for some reason or another.
Hmm.
But she has all this stuff like I assume some of it like meant to be gifts, like or part of it is probably for like staging houses, but it's like all this new shit just sitting in there, just waiting for for the
Wow.
right guest, the right um, client to
Yeah,
buy.
yeah, yeah. We
Just
do that too. Yeah. Again, I don't want to put point fingers, but yeah, my mom does that a lot. She'll buy ahead of time, like thinking about, oh, I can give this to a client and whatnot. I think for me, I would not mind investing money on marketing stuff, like if it was notebooks, notepads, types with your own logo, and then hand them out when you're in meetings or events, and you can just hand those things out. But when you're buying gifts for somebody you have not even worked with, I don't know. I think it's a little too much. That's just my opinion.
and it well, but it's like this line of being the personal and impersonal too, of like you got things that are pretty good. They're like pretty zoned in, maybe like 70 to 80% somewhere in there
Mm,
of like, oh, this is a pretty good gift, but it's not
yeah.
like you met the person, you went out with them, and then you're like, oh, I should get that. Like that would be a good one. That would like I know that would go well with them, and I bet they would hold on to that for a while. And every time I need to do something, or if I need to pass a name along, it's gonna be
Yep.
gonna be that one. And I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, 'cause I could go both ways, but now it's just I have enough of my own crap, I guess.
Yeah, to each their own, as I say, whatever works. If it works for you, it works for you, I I do love to give gifts to people. I love taking care of people, love feeding people. So for some reason, something about this year has been very like the desire has been very strong to just want to give things to people, which has been great. I love it. Um, yeah.
Why do you think that is?
That's a great question. I don't know why that is. I've always had the desire to take care of people and give. And I think because I'm now in commercial real estate, my sphere of influence has grown really fast. And I've been meeting a lot of amazing people and developing or cultivating beautiful connections with people. And all I want to do is just, like continue to see them smile, happy, like just want to give. It has always been a desire of mine to be able to take care of my favorite people, or just even not even my favorite people, but just people in general. I love people very much. And, now I'm trying to find creative ways of how I can give without it hurting my pocket. And so I've been very creative in like baking cookies. Like when was this? Yeah, a few weeks ago, we had a meeting. Um, it was to me, it was a very special meeting for me. And this was between two clients, basically introducing each other to one another. And I wanted it to be such a beautiful and everlasting experience. And I figured like, well, how can I make this special? And this was at the time when I was visiting my friends in Florida. And what I love about my friends in Florida is everything revolves around food with them. They're always talking about how they want to be part of the community. They love breaking bread with the community. And when I came back home to Charleston, I was like, all right, how can I implement that? And I figured, well, the best way I can break bread during a conference, like while they're in the conference room having a presentation, this is a business setting, how can I create my own version of breaking bread together? And I baked cookies, and I created individual box for everybody who was in that meeting. And they all ate the cookies and the chocolates after the meeting, but that was my way of breaking bread and creating that opportunity for everybody to break bread in a professional setting. It was beautiful.
What kind of
I
cookies were
What kind of cookies were they? They were chocolate chip.
they? Okay.
Um, they
I wonder if
had
that's what I would say
caramel.
that'd probably be the safest bet for everyone to go
Oh
with the
yeah,
chocolate.
yeah. But there's more, and that's what I love.
Ooh.
It had caramel as well as walnuts.
Okay, you put the nuts in there.
I did.
Uh, I love it. I
Mm-hmm.
love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Lots of sugar.
so so hard to get stuff right now with nuts in it. Um, it kind of is tough, especially if I get something like a banana bread or something. It doesn't have any nuts. It's just I don't.
You
I'm
have
not.
you have to make it yourself.
Yeah.
I've never, I guess that's, I have had banana bread. I was introduced to it actually surprisingly last year because I'm not a fan of banana and bread together. Just the sound of it did not a- appeal to me at all.
Yep.
But my business partner introduced me to it, and I was like, okay, I can get with it. And then my brother, he was into baking and he made his own version of banana bread. He threw in chocolate chip as well as walnuts. And oh my God, I was hooked. I was just like, make more of those, please. Thank you very much. Hmm.
Absolutely. The walnuts and the chocolate chips in them is both
Mm,
uh
amazing.
the way to do it. And yeah, it's hard when it's just banana bread, just plain like having the nuts and the chocolate, or if you even put a little caramel in there, like you're saying
I
with
have
the
not.
cookies.
Yeah.
I wonder
Yeah.
if that'd be pretty good.
You should try it.
But
Let me know.
yeah, I haven't cooked banana bread for quite some time. I had a pretty good hookup when. Well, it's not too bad here either. I've had it all right. Like a pretty good hookup here. I guess I do. I have a little place right by me with the donkeys and the chickens and
Those are the best.
yeah,
Wow.
and then there's like a little store, but it's probably about the size of this room, and you can like leave the money there, and you go and take change when you need to, and then uh yeah, you just put it
That's
in
so
there.
cool.
Yeah, and it's like 3.50 or $4 for a loaf of banana bread with some nuts in it, and it's pretty good. I saw
Nice.
one like that was like $7 or $8 the other day, and I thought that was too much for a little loaf. Um, yeah,
That's inflation.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and
they would
I don't know. I don't need to be paying no $7 for a loaf of bread,
that you can
but
make yourself. Yeah.
right, that I can make myself, which
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
maybe I will. Once it's more of a hassle to do that.
It's
I don't know.
fun.
It's not.
I'm
Yeah.
loving it. I'm loving baking, and something
Oh,
that
it's
I've been
nice.
really having fun with was making muffin tops. That's been a lot of fun.
How are you making muffin tops? How's that work? What
Um,
is it like that Seinfeld episode with the muffin tops? Do you make the muffins and then you just go and
no,
like
no,
take the bottom
no,
part and you just
nope,
you know
no, no. So, all right, I'm spilling all my beans here, guys. You heard
that's
it
what
here
this is for.
first.
I
Yes,
yeah,
perfect. Don't sue me, and don't use this against me, and don't you dare tell my clients this, because they think that I made it from scratch. But I buy the little those box things that like pre-made.
yep,
Yeah, those are the
those are
ones I buy. So yeah, I'm sure you can find them in like um your grocery store.
yeah.
Yeah,
And th-
there's muffin tops, but I haven't checked out other grocery stores. I just have one that's close by to my house that I go to, and it's been a hit, at least with me. I've been killing those cookies. They've been so good. Especially when you add walnuts. Oh my God, I don't know what it is about the walnuts, but they just enhance everything and just
I
make it taste so much better.
I agree. Do you
Mhm.
like oatmeal raisin cookies?
I'm not a fan of oatmeal.
Okay,
Uh-uh.
yeah. With the walnuts in there, that makes me that's like one
Happy.
of my favorite cookies. Oatmeal
Nice.
raisin with walnuts. But and then just how good your house smells or afterwards. Like
Sounds too healthy for me. That's why I'm just no. Like if you're gonna sin, let's sin well. You know, go all in with all the sugar. That's my philosophy. If
yeah,
you're gonna have sugar, you just come on,
yeah, and
don't be shy.
know you're making it. And then
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty nice. Like you can't really beat that. Like got some nice stuff in the oven.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't want to brag, but when my mom sold her houses, they were on the market for a while, at least the first one. And then I came in and I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put some cookies in there. And then it sold. And then her other house wasn't as long, but I didn't come along until then. I'm like, hey, I'm going to put some cookies. I don't know if I don't think I baked them. I don't think I was there,
That's
but I was like, put some
smart.
cookies. Yeah, it's good. Like that,
Hmm.
it's one of those things that
Hmm.
you associate with. Oh, this
Yep.
is home. It smells like
Yeah.
cookies.
Yeah. It's smart. Very smart. So whoever's listening, if you're in real estate, boom,
Yeah, boom
free
is right.
gems. Free
Yeah,
gems.
yeah. That's what you're getting here.
Hmm.
That's why I am. It's the free gem podcast today.
That's right.
So,
Yeah. Let's throw more jams and more diamonds, rusty diamond.
ooh, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Throwing a few out.
All right.
So speaking of gems and diamonds, your book,
Oh,
that's how I
all right.
transitioned into your book with gems and diamonds.
I was gonna pick on you, but okay, you want to pick on me? Let's do it. Pick on me.
Ooh, I'm
Mm.
gonna pick on you. All right. Yeah, no, I'm happy that that came across, and I haven't, I haven't done as much reading in the past little while as I used to. I've been on a bit of a reading freeze as far as physical media, which
Okay.
because I don't know if I consider like what I read on my phone or on a computer is reading, but I'm retaining or not. Well, I guess I'm retaining, but I'm learning stuff, and I'm like reading it like. But I'm just not like if it's not like a physical book, I don't know if I feel like I'm really reading.
Mm.
Because like yeah,
I know
if
what
it's
you
not
mean.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, it
if
depends on
it's
what kind of content you're reading. Because if you're reading social media posts, like an Instagram post, Facebook post, I mean, you're reading, but it's such a little tiny
right.
bit of content. Can you really call that reading? I don't know. Now, if
Well,
you're like investing a couple of minutes, I'm talking about 15 to 30 minutes of just like reading an article or findings or consuming that type of content, then I think that's qualified as reading.
okay.
I
So
don't know.
then I
What is
might
it?
read a little bit more than I thought, but um, what you gonna do? But I liked your book. I liked it. And I
Yeah.
liked that.
What you like?
I liked a lot of it. I liked.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna ask, what did you think about the book? What was what? All right, let me ask you this. Now, my turn. My turn. I know it's Rusty Diamond's show, but haha, Aya's taking over.
Even
Um,
better.
what's what was the key takeaway or that resonated with you?
Go fucking like do shit. Don't be fucking. Don't be all fucking sad and fucking go do shit. Like I think that's you know that's what I got from it.
Okay,
That was the main takeaway that I had from it, and that I don't know why you're not, or
come
are you doing that more? You said you're. It says at the end you're doing it more,
doing what?
um,
What am I
writing
doing?
more, making more of that content. It says you're going to, so it says there's going to be more books.
There are,
Uh,
yeah, oh my gosh, yes. There's actually a few, I have a few books in mind. They're in queue right now, and I have a few screenplays that are also in queue. The screenplays are so like in draft mode. I need to create an outline and actually execute it. Just haven't had the time. But yeah, I have a few more books that I would love to publish. I don't know if it will be possible to publish this year, but there is at least two books that I would love to publish in the next 2 or 3 years. Um, maybe
uh,
three.
for the
Mm.
screenplay, do you use like an app for that? Like
I
a
do.
screenwriting app? I forgot what the
Yes.
one was I used.
There's a few.
Yeah.
I can look it up, but yeah, it has been Writer Duet is
Okay.
one that I use. It's beautiful and it's free up to a certain point, obviously, but you should be able to write a screenplay through Writer Duet there without having to pay for anything. And I love it because it's very much sticks to the format of how the screenplay is supposed to be formatted. So it's beautiful. You don't have to recreate the wheel. It has the template already there for you. Um, I think I don't know if I mentioned it in the book, but yeah, I actually wrote and finished the screenplay. My very first one. It's a feature film. About 2 years ago.
Okay. I don't know if you said. I think you said you were working on it, or that there was maybe you did say you wrote a screenplay, but didn't elaborate on it.
It could
Uh,
be. So that's the reason why I want to revise my book. Getting Lost in the Sauce is because I feel like there were a couple of friends who said, it's a good book, but I feel like you could definitely expand on a lot of things here and there. And I'm like, okay, this is great feedback. And the reason why I didn't really expand, or I just kind of zoomed through, is because I'm not a big fan of talking about myself. I don't love, like, I have a story. I love sharing that story one on one with people based off of their interest and how deep we want to go into my journey. But when it comes to, for me to sit down and write to a large audience that I've never met, it's a little bit challenging, because like, how much do I want to expose myself? Because even the fact that, like, I'm saying, hey, I'm from Turkmenistan, like, that to me is already too much exposure. Me saying, oh, I hit depression, or I went through a divorce, or blah blah blah, that's a lot of exposure in my opinion. And so when my friends say, like, hey, you could have expanded more on that, I'm like, oh, you want more? Like, yeah, we want to know more about you. I'm like, okay, I can expand. So that's why I asked you, like, what kind of questions you would want. Like, what kind of questions did you have for me that you would have wanted um, to read or see in the book that I could expand on, because that would help me revise the book.
So here's
And
what I'm
yeah,
saying.
tell me.
You said in there that you were, when you got back into reading, you were reading 1 to 2 books a day, and for a while. And
Mm-hmm.
so, with your book being the length that it is, that would fall into one of those categories. So I would stick with that, and let that lead into other things. You don't need to go and put everything into your first book. I mean, it's unless you really want to. But I don't know. It needs to be longer. I don't know if it needs to have that many more details. I mean, that's a bunch of different books to go in different directions rather than just briefly touching on them.
Nice. Good. Thank you for that feedback. I really appreciate it. And just to clarify, I didn't read like 1 or 2 books a day, like boom, boom, done, like from the beginning to the end. That's like,
Oh, okay.
that's, yeah, I think that's where I need to clarify. That's not what the case was about. I think what I do for me, I love reading books, but I give myself at least 15 to 30 minutes a day in the morning, and it's part of my routine in the morning to read a book. And it's either going to be a business book or a spiritual book, or a book that helps elevate me in the morning and sets the tone for the rest of the day. That's so I'll expand on that. Thank you. I'll expand on that in my book. But yeah, I wasn't reading a whole book because then that would require me not to work at all. I'm just reading books and that's it. That takes a
Yeah.
couple of hours to commit. Um, but that would be there was a point when I first moved to Charleston, my first year, because I didn't really have a social life. I didn't know anybody. I was still figuring myself out. I did read 2 books a day, meaning one book in the morning, 15 to 30 minutes, and then a second book, 15 to 30 minutes in the evening. And I was able to finish those 2 books within like a week or two and just continue on with that process. And it definitely fed my soul, I will admit. Books that I love reading are all in business or spirituality. Those are my 2 favorite topics.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I kind of that same way. Like I like reading books about those kinds of uh happenings, or
mhm.
books like, I don't know, like some fiction books I can get into, but it's very rare that I'm gonna sit and read a fiction book
Mhm.
that I'm
Me
not
too.
learning something,
Yeah.
um, having something to take away. Like there's I don't know. There's a lot of stories I've heard, and a lot of the stories too are so similar. And like books that are written, there's only like how many stories? Seven stories or something like that. It might be a little more than seven, but I think there's seven basic stories that are derived into uh, everything that is story
In,
wise
oh, in fiction, you mean?
in fiction. Yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I never got into fiction, like, unless my friends have read the book or have done their own research and recommend it, then I will get into it, maybe, and then we would like that and the reason why I'm saying this is we actually that exactly happened. I had a colleague a few years ago when I was still in corporate, pitch and say, "Hey, guys, do you wanna read this fiction book? It's very interesting. It's based off of, World War II." And it's about romance. And I'm like, it's a fiction though. And so I only got into it because we had like a little semi book club. So we all got to talk about it. And it was a great book. I'm not gonna poo poo on fiction, but if I was to go and make my own executive choice, it would either be spirituality, business, or anything revolving around spirituality or business. Reality, realistic. Yeah, I don't know if it's yeah. I think spirituality is realistic. Yeah,
Yeah.
based off
And
of life. Yeah, not
right.
that fiction isn't, but yeah.
Well, and there's ways to when with fiction you're not able to like take that. I mean, you sort of take it and try to apply it to your life and make your life better. Whereas with a spiritual book or a business book, you can probably
Yeah,
do both of those. You
yeah,
should if you're reading them, you probably should have some takeaway from either one of those.
yeah. There you go. That's a really good distinction between fiction and nonfiction. There's not many lessons you can learn off of fiction. It's almost like watching a good TV show or a movie, but you're reading through it and you're using your mind to visualize and bring the text into reality in your head. Whereas with business and spirituality books, it's more like the author is talking at you and trying to educate you or at least try to enhance you. And it's up to you, the reader, to then implement everything you've just learned or drop it. It's up to you as the
Right.
reader. Yeah,
And
it's
that was something in your book. Like you kind of grab people every once in a while too. Like in the book, which is cool. That you're
tell
like,
me. Can you expand on that? I don't know what that means, Rusty.
oh well, I mean, like reaching out and just like grabbing someone by their neck during the middle of the book. But there's points of it where you like have to like grab like say the same thing over and over. Where you kind of shake sense into people, I guess, in a few spots, and like
Nice.
sort of like breaking the fourth wall, in a
Wow.
way. Even though it's a book, like the book that you wrote, you're still kind of breaking the fourth wall, and like talking to you as more of just like as opposed to just telling the story. And you're like, hey,
Mm,
hey, hold on, like,
mm.
hey, do this, yeah, yeah,
I appreciate that.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
very valuable feedback because all right, so I don't know if I ever told you this. When I published the book, I didn't really give it to anybody to review, like nothing. This was just like, this is me, bare bones. This is me literally exposing myself, putting myself in a very vulnerable position because I did not send it to the editor. I did not have anybody read it. I didn't have any focus groups. Like rookie mistake 101 for an author as well as a marketer. And this is a person, me, who has 10 years of marketing experience. It was like obviously like, hey dummy, like you should be doing all these things. And yet I was just like, you know what? Here's my bare butt. Take it or leave it. This is me. And I think I wrote that at the end too. It's like, hey, this is me getting lost in the sauce of publishing world. I'm still figuring it all out myself. Therefore, I'm allowing myself not to be hard on myself. I'm allowing myself not to be judgmental. I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to allow myself to get lost and let the journey guide me to wherever it needs to go. Because at the time when I published it almost a year ago, um, I didn't know that I had to do all these things. Yeah, subconsciously, I kind of knew I needed to, and I should have. But I was really, really like so focused on publishing the book on May 4th. And if I missed that date, it was over in my head. This is
Because
this is what was going through my head. And I
Star
wanted it
Wars.
to be, yep. I wanted it to be published on May 4th because I was like, May the 4th be with you. May the 4th be with you, right?
Right.
It's just May 4th meant a lot to me. Just to meant it. Okay, there's just so much backstory, but like I never watched Star Wars, never watched, never.
You never watched Star Wars, and you're like, I'm gonna put the Star Wars thing in the book because like
I'm just weird like
so
that.
some person
Listen,
in Star Wars. Okay.
yeah. So it's a meme. So I'm gonna be that person. I was that poor person. I was like, all right, May 4th, we're gonna go for it. If I don't publish it on May 4th, I missed my chance. I don't know. This is what's going through my head last year. And I had this like burning desire. I had to do it right then and there. This was after my birthday trip to Cancun in April. I've already had the draft. It was sitting in my computer for almost 2 years. And between April and May 4th, I had a very short, like what, not even 6 weeks. I had, I think, 3 weeks of writing, finalizing the script or the screenplay manuscript. And I was like, we're just shooting for the May 4th date. And that's really all I was obsessed with. I didn't think about, hey, Aya, why don't you go through all these steps of, checking off everything, going through the editor, getting a designer for your book. Because I also designed the first edition myself, like literally did everything myself. I didn't think about, hey, why don't you publish it in 2024? Like you'll have a whole year, no pressure, take it easy. Uh,
Why?
so this
Why
is
would
me.
you?
Just there you
Why
go.
would
That's
you wait?
that's why I did not want to let go of that momentum that I had, that burning desire that it needed to be published May 4th. And that's why I published it the way I did. Um, they're here now talking about it almost a year later, and I'm about to go. It's going to go through its second revision. I have a new design for the book that I'm excited to reveal once it's published. So I'm shooting for May 4th, my 1 year birthday anniversary with the book, to reveal the new design and announce the revised version, I guess.
So, have you gotten to talk about your book on other podcasts?
A little bit, but I feel like this is the first time I've ever actually went in depth with it. And the reason why I say that is because you've actually read the book. With other people, it was more of like a little promotion type of thing. Like, oh, tell me more about what that means. And that's it.
Um. Okay. Well, good. So, I hope it's okay with you that we're getting into this. That I'm just kind of telling you
Go for
uh
it.
how I'm thinking about it, like as we're going here on the show. Like,
Let's go.
this is what the conversation is today,
Yeah.
and
Getting lost in the sauce.
yeah, and so okay, so you did a kind of the lockdown makeover, as I like to call it, but you did it like a year before. You had like
Mm,
a year jump on everybody. Um,
wow.
the because like at that point, at that like you either you sank or you swam. When that shit went down, like you either like put in your shit and or you fucking just let the world fucking take you down and just fucking woe is
Oh,
me through that. And you fucking but you went and did that a year before. You had the jump start on people. And
you think that would that let's back up a little and let me give your audience a context because they don't know. I don't know if they know what you're talking about unless they all
who
bought the
would?
book because, listen, hey, according to Amazon, my paperback has been sold out. So,
That's
you
right.
know, maybe they did pick up the copy. But for those that did not read the book, so in 2019, this is a year before COVID hit, and I didn't even know that COVID was going to hit.
Oh, come
COVID
on, come on. You knew. You
I d-
do. You
Listen,
you you set up the whole thing.
thank
You
you.
know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. It all
yeah,
came from me too. No.
yeah.
Um, yeah, 2019 was a very shitty year for me because that was when I was going through my breakup with my ex-husband. So like that's when I announced that's it, we were done. And in addition to that, I'm getting fired from my corporate job. So I'm just getting L's, like, just losses, from here and there. And I figured, all right, I could really just sit here, be depressed, and feel sorry for myself, or I can really take life by the balls and just say, fuck this. Because I had that moment in my life, and I think we've talked about it in my first interview with you. But if you didn't, I had a moment when I was going through my earthquake. That's what I call it, the earthquake of life. I had a question, like I questioned myself, like, what am I doing here? I'm unhappy. Like nobody loves me. I hate my job. Job hates me back. Like my self-esteem is so low. Confidence, I don't even know anything about confidence because self-esteem is so low. Like, what do I do? The easiest thing and the logical thing that made sense to me at that time was to take my own life. And it was very easy because I had this come to Jesus conversation with myself, as we all do. And I had it while I was on the road going like 80 miles per hour. So it was very easy for me to just be like, boop, car crash, I out. Like, see you on the other side. Like I had that opportunity. I literally looked at the freaking wheel and I was just like thinking that, like, it's not that hard to take my own life right now. And then something in me, let's just call it higher self consciousness, was saying, hey, think about your family. Like, don't be selfish, don't be stupid. If you want to take your life, let's just pretend you took your life, and then what? So I had to have those images and those conversations with myself. I was like, all right, well, let's pretend that you died and you were reborn. You're welcome. God gave you a second life. Let's start acting like you're living a second life, which you are. You no longer have a deadbeat husband. You no longer have a job you hate. You're starting from scratch, clean slate. You're born again. Born again, new person. You. What does that look like? What do you want to do? How do you want to live your life? You now know what it's like to live a shitty life. You have that experience. You're welcome. How can you turn that shittiness into amazingness? And I really had to have that, had to sit down with that and really think about what that looked like for me. And it started off as a ripple effect. It first started off with me signing up to a newsletter for an acting school, which then evolved into going into a workshop, evolved into taking classes, evolved into getting so involved in acting. I loved it so much. It helped me actually grow my confidence and grow my self-esteem. Where my acting teacher was saying, Aya, you're ready. This is like within 2 months of me taking acting classes. Like, you're ready to go full time. You're ready to go and be an actual working actor. And I'm like, me? I don't know squat about auditioning. I don't know anything about being on set. I'm like super, super green. What do you mean? Like, I'm a business person. I only have sales and marketing experience. He's like, you're better than, oh, he didn't say you're better than other actors, but he said you're far more ahead mentally because you're thinking as a business person. And that's what a lot of actors in the acting world, they lack. They don't have that. All they want to do is act, but they don't know anything else. You have tech experience, you have marketing and sales experience, you're good. Go. And once I got those words of encouragement, everything else started to evolve. And it's just, I started to fall in love with my life every single day. And that evolution has evolved and brought me here. And that
To the
process is
Publicaccess
what I
podcast.
call, yeah, there you go.
Oh,
Exactly.
sorry.
Rusty Diamond's podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but it has evolved because I got out of my own way. I let go of my ego. I let go and stepped into the unknown. And that's the scary part, is when you remove your identity, you let go of your ego, you remove from identifying with your ego, identifying with your past, right? Or identifying or creating this illusionary self. And you just say, you know what? This is me. This is who I am right now. and I am open to whatever happens. I'm open to the unknown. It's scary, but I trust that everything will work out for the best, and it has. And now I'm like the biggest advocate for just embrace the unknown. That's why I wrote the book, Getting Lost in the Sauce. Get out of your own way, get lost so you can find yourself. Get lost so you can find your destination. So,
I mean, you metaphorically did crash your car and get into a new life.
powerful. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Yeah.
I mean, that was your moment. I was like, fuck, okay, I guess. I mean, that was you going into something totally different than like, okay, this life isn't working. Let's do something new. Let's fucking,
Mhm.
as the kids say, let's fucking go.
Or as the kids say, let's fuck this shit up. Like that's literally what it was for me. I was like, all
Right.
right, I'm not gonna write any more bucket list. I don't care about it. Now it's a matter of I want to create a life where I can do whatever I want, which has always been my desire to do whatever I want every day, not having to have a boss. That has always been my desire. Um, and do what I love. Yeah, just to be able to do what I love. And I now, like a few years later, after 2020, like I get to do what I love every single day, and I get paid for it. Like, oh my God, like I'm living the dream because I get to decide what I do throughout the day. I get to decide what I commit to. I get to decide the type of impact I want to make. I get to decide how I want to show up and the type of work I want to do, the type of impact I want to do, the type of work I want to get involved in. It's awesome to be able to be your own creator of your own life. Magical.
So, kind of had a side thought.
Do it.
So okay, so you're in commercial real estate, and you're also into time crunch of getting something done to put it out, and you're also into screenplay and acting and stuff of that nature,
Politics. Yep. Mhm.
politics. But what if, because you have access to these places that you're working on selling, that is a set. That is a set you don't need to pay for. And you can, if you're under time constraints, get stuff done quickly and through if you, I don't know, you're able to get something in there. And you can also, yeah, be able to, I mean, I don't know how many, because I mean, you get to act every time that you're, selling a place too. Got put
I
on some. Oh,
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. No, I'm trying to think about this one because you're not the first person to say, "Oh, we're always acting." And in some way, we are always acting, right? Essentially, even right now, you're putting up an act.
Sure.
We all do, right?
Right.
But I don't think that's a bad thing. I actually think to be a good actor, you have to come from a place of heart and authenticity. So yeah,
Yep.
everything is an act, but you can be so fake and so gross and ingenuine. You're not acting at this point. You're just being yourself, you know? Maybe you are. Maybe that is how you were raised, and that is the act that has been ingrained in a person. But like people can feel bad acting, right? Like they can feel that energy and they can interpret it. For me, it has always, I don't know who ingrained it, but if I'm not passionate about something, I don't want it, I'm not gonna do it. And if you force me to do it, guess what? It's gonna turn into poop. I'm just putting it out there, but that's how it is. If I'm not passionate about something, you're not going to get the best version of me. And a lot of people, when they say, wow, you're very passionate, I was like, good, that's exactly what I want you to think. Because if I'm not passionate, there's something wrong with me. And there's something wrong in my ideology or in my belief system of what's happening right now. But yeah, going back to when I'm doing presentations, or if I'm, I led a meeting this on Monday this week with the libertarian group. And, being the Charleston County chair, I had to present the meeting, present the executive meeting that we have once a month. And I was thinking about like, okay, why am I not nervous? And it's just like, well, we're just gonna go with the flow. Allowing myself to get lost in the sauce of what it's like to be a chair. But I think that maybe this is my answer. You kind of helped me with, I didn't have to put up an act. I just showed up and was myself. And I tuned in from a place of passion, tuned in from a place of authenticity. Therefore, I didn't need to be nervous or worry or be stressed out, because it came from an authentic place. Therefore, I didn't need to act, but act as myself.
Which is a big difference.
Yeah.
Between the two, there's a huge difference. And yeah, I mean, people will be able to buy into you because, like, as any sort of acting, like, you're not like, oh yeah, that's not believable. This person's just like, you can be a fucking slime ball salesperson, and I know a lot of slime ball salespersons. I've worked a lot of slime ball salespeople, and but you can smell them. You can fucking smell them coming a mile away, and you're just like, fuck, dude, like. Some people who can see through it can see right through it. I mean, you're gonna get sales, but like, I don't know. It'd be hard for me to do something like that and not be myself, or sell. Like, I don't like selling shit that I'm not into.
Oh yeah, me
and
too.
I've done that. I've done it, and it's fucking miserable.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why.
Walked out.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of sales. And I don't consider myself a salesperson. I consider myself a marketing person for that exact reason. I hate selling. And I do my best, even in commercial real estate, but anywhere, even just as a personal note for myself, I intentionally do my best to do anything and everything in terms of marketing myself, my business, my team, my partners. If you can double, triple, 10x on your marketing, you don't have to do the selling, because the consumer, the prospect, will read all of these things, will find you. Actually, it's very easy to Google a person or a business. And when they can look you up and educate themselves on your company, on your brand, the next thing they have to do is pick up the phone, call you and say, hey, man, or hey, Aya, hey, Rusty, I want to book you, man. You sold me. Your website sold me. I did my research. And what I've noticed too with customers, lead prospects and customers, they're very proud when they talk to us, like when they talk to me, when they talk to my partner. I said, I've done research. I know who I'm talking to. And I'm like, this is good. My strategy, my marketing strategy is working. This is good. And that's when, you can kind of try to figure out, where did you find me? If it was Google, how did you find me? What did you see? But that's what I do. Because I don't love selling. I don't want to say I'm not a good seller. I think I'm a really good salesperson, but I don't like to sell, because if you, the consumer, the prospect, if a person, let's just say a person, if a person does not see value in me, then I don't want to do business with you. I don't want to have to go chase after you and beg for your business. If you don't see value in me, then sorry, this is a partnership. This is not a transaction for me. This is a relationship. And we're going to go on a journey together, whether it's in commercial real estate, whether it's anywhere. whatever journey we're going to go on, it's going to be a journey you and I are going to go on together. And I want to make sure that it's a good one. And it all starts with the fundamentals, which is trust. Do you, as my client, as my customer, trust me? That's it. And sure, let's get to know each other. Let's have these conversations. And a lot of times when I talk to people, they immediately get drawn into me. They're like, all right, I trust you. I'm like, cool, perfect. Trust is my love language. If I can hear the word trust, that you trust me, boom. That to me is like, all right, great. I sold you. Let's go on to the actual transaction. Because trust is so important for me. If I have your trust and you have mine, perfect. And now that's my job as a salesperson, is to continue to strengthen that trust that you have in me, so that I can continue to prove to you why you and I are perfect together, to work together. That's where I see, that's how I think when I think of salespeople. So it's not about, hey, let me sell you commercial real estate. Hey, let me sell you a car. Let me sell you whatever. It's about, at the end of the day, I'm selling myself. Because you're going to do business with me first. You're doing the business with me, period. And if you don't like me, that's a problem. Then it's going to be, yeah, we're not going to have a good transaction. If you can't trust me, we're not going to have a good transaction. So that's the very first. You and I both have to have a trusting relationship before we go anywhere else.
That's important. That's
Very
important.
much
And
so.
it like lays a good foundation, and
Yeah.
like it's yeah. 'Cause I
Mhm.
mean, once you have that, then it's just like, okay, well, you're not here to screw me over. You're not here to,
Exactly. Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
I'm not the stupid fucking mark that you're just taking advantage of. Like,
Exactly. If I can make my client or prospect, just a person, let's just go with that. If I can make a person feel like, hey, I'm not taking advantage of you, I honor you at whatever stage you are in. And the fact that you even showed up, the fact that you took the step of trying to interview me, have a call with me, I honor you for that. Let's build that foundation where we can build that trust and know that who you're working with is not going to do shady things. I'm not that type of person. Like, I very much genuinely believe in karma. Therefore, I do my best to be good to people. So I do believe in good karma. Like, if you do good, it's going to come back to you 10 times fold through other ways. So I live by that rule. So I do my best to be good to everybody.
you ever see the show My Name is Earl?
I've heard of it, but no, I
Okay.
don't think so.
So
No.
that's like the whole premise of the show.
Yeah.
He was a guy that just always does bad stuff, bad things happen to him,
Hmm.
and like he wins the lottery, but then immediately gets hit by a car and like then loses the ticket. And so then the whole thing is he goes and makes this big list of all these people that in different ways he screwed people over, and starts going off one by one, each person's different episode, and making it right with them, and then
Nice.
good things start happening to him, and then
Mm.
yeah,
Nice.
so
That's
yeah.
that's basically that's me. That's something about 2019, right before I embarked on my getting lost in the sauce journey. I don't want to say I was very egoistical, but I was very close-minded, and I would say coming I functioned from a place of ego, as well as, not being fully present, tapping into my traumas, my fear-based. So I gave a lot of my power to my ex-husband, or at least I used him as an excuse to hold myself back. And after that incident of, when the earthquake happened, everything started to fall apart. I just said, I'm gonna function from a place of presence. I'm no longer going to let fear dictate my life. And when fear creeps in, let's sit with it and try to find ways to combat it. And what's a good and best way to combat fear is to actually do the thing that you're scared of, and challenging yourself to do the thing, because, how can you, so it's scary to address fear, when you're scared. It's you start to make up some really good stories for yourself of why you should not do the thing, because fear, really, the ego within fear will create some amazing, very valuable, valid reasons, and the ego will admit and agree, like, yeah, this is very scary. And then how can you, from the higher perspective, higher self, say, I acknowledge this fear, but I challenge myself to do it anyway. That's what I did with acting. I did that with writing, did that with modeling, did that with commercial real estate, did that with the Libertarian Party. I've continuously tried to, not tried, continuously attempted and pushed myself outside of my comfort zone for that exact reason. Like, all right, fear is there to protect us, but literally nobody's going to hurt you. So why don't you just go and explore? And that's, again, why don't you allow yourself to get lost in the sauce of your own curiosity, of your own desires? Explore. It doesn't need to be anything serious. All you have to do is just let go of this fear, do it anyway, and just see how that feels. No one's going to kill you or hurt you. The only person hurting you and holding you back is literally you. So can you, for a moment, get out of your own way and actually allow yourself to embrace the unknown?
And I mean, every time that you don't, you're enforcing it more and more. And um, it's not like that thing probably won't ever happen to you again. You probably won't encounter that sort of thing ever again. Like, oh, yep, it just one time, and then good thing I don't have to worry about that anymore. That probably will never come back and find me at some point. Probably be good. No, nothing to worry about. And they're like, oh yeah, shit. Okay, here it is again. And now, yeah, it's stronger, and
Mm-hmm.
probably should
Yeah.
have done something about that.
Yeah. And I feel like what I've been shifting my perspective a little bit even further is when the fear comes in and it's like, ooh, I'm so scared or blah, blah, blah. I try my best to take a few deep breaths and, okay, the speech that I just gave, the bullshit speech of embrace the unknown. It's so easy. Get out of your own way. It's so easy. It's not. Well, I have to deal with it every single day myself. I have to deal with myself. Um, but another perspective that I play with to manipulate myself in a positive way is that thing is placed onto your path for a reason. And it is up to you to overcome it. And if you don't overcome it now, that thing is going to come in a different shape or form sometime in the later future until you are courageous enough to overcome it. So, do you want to not do the thing and put it off for a later time, and it's just going to continuously come up for you in other shapes and experiences? Or do you just want to take care of this business right now, whether that's, feeling the feelings, feeling the frustrations, whatever that is, having these uncomfortable conversations with your loved ones, or whatever the challenge and the fear is for you. Do you want to embrace it right now? Which I think right now is the best time there is, if you ask me. Or do you want to put it off and let it, it's almost like putting dirt under the fridge. Eventually the fridge is going to break down. You're going to have to renew the fridge, and guess what, all the crap that you just try to get rid of, it's all under the fridge. So you're not really cleaning it, you're just kind of like brushing it off. Eventually everything's going to shut down, you're going to have to get a new fridge, you're going to have to clean the whole freaking area, and that area is like so nasty and gross. Is that what you want? you know so yeah, like whenever anything, whenever I feel triggered, emotions are coming up, past traumas are coming up, past fears are coming up. I try not to, I try not to brush it off anymore. I sit with it, and I either talk to a friend or I talk to myself, and we as in me, myself, and I, or my friends, we all work through it together, and we really try to find a solution to heal the things, embrace the unknown, to heal the traumas, whatever that is, the fear. And yeah, I've noticed that it's like popping that little annoying pimple on your face and letting it finally breathe, like letting your face breathe. It's beautiful. And I don't know, I kind of want to take this opportunity to transition to you, Rusty, because it kind of that's exactly what you did with me a few weeks ago when we had our hypnosis session. Um yeah, it's I don't know how much you want to expand on that or if you want to go into that, but you've healed what is it? Past childhood traumas for me during our session, and it was beautiful. It was amazing, and it was basically what I was just describing. Like that's what I felt like is what happened with my childhood traumas. I felt like I kind of put them under a rug or under a fridge, and I didn't really work through them. And boom, here we were able to fix big major things that were holding me back, but just not even holding me back. There was just so much pain there, and you just made it go away. You didn't make it go away, but you healed it. And I
I,
didn't even know that was possible. Like, my goodness.
that was you. That was you that did that. I didn't do shit.
Mm-mm.
I just, I
You
just
know, don't, no,
took
no,
you,
don't you
took
dare.
you over
Don't you
there.
dare.
I just
No,
took you
don't
over
you
there.
dare.
That was all you. I didn't know what was going on in your head.
I
I didn't know
know,
what
I
was going
know.
on. I was like, you go do it. Here's a toolbox. You're like, I'll see you later. I'll see you in a little bit. I'm gonna go take the dog for
No,
a walk and
no, you're discounting yourself right now. Don't you dare. Don't you dare, Rusty. You did more than that. You brought your toolbox with you, and you did some little magic there, here and there. You're like, okay, we just touched something that was very painful. Let's find a way to not make it painful. And it was that was art, and it takes a very talented artist to do what you did. And I believe I told you I saw hypnotherapists in the past, especially this was during 2018, 2019, when I was going through my own depression with my ex and my work at the time. I none of I had a 1 hour session with them just as much as I had with you. I think I had about like almost 2 hours with you, but it wasn't as impactful or yeah, or as effective as it was with you, Rusty. So no, I very much um I don't want you to discount yourself at all. I think you have to advertise. Actually, I encourage you to advertise it more, because what you did was very, very healing. And even the next day I messaged my friend, and I sent her voice memos. And I told her about my experience because she asked me to tell her how my experience was because she was very much interested in what you do. And I told her, like, this is what happened. Like, I went into details, and she sent me a recording back, and she said, it sounds to me, you sound better. Like, your voice sounded better. Like, and she even felt my energy better
I mean,
because that's how impactful it was. Yeah, Rusty. So,
you
for
got some.
anybody listening, like, please contact Rusty. Like, I'm really advertising the crap out of him because he's so worth it. You have to try uh Rusty as a hypno. I don't know how am I say how do you call your what do you call yourself, Rusty?
I'm the
A
guy with
magician.
the fucking the
No, you're
little
not.
the little pocket watch. I'm the pocket watch guy. I'm a pocket watch artist. Is what I go by. That should be
You
my
are the
new handle.
artist.
Pocket watch artist. And
It doesn't really tell a story, but I think you
no,
should create like an advertisement.
I
Like,
need I need to make a new commercial. It's something I need to do. You saw the one I made that like in 2019 or
yeah, you
something.
didn't even have hair.
No,
Like, it's
I
so
still
not
don't
on
have hair.
brand.
Now it's just like
Yeah, so not on
um
brand.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a while. And
Hmm.
yeah. So I don't know, because I made a commercial, like another commercial a couple years ago, um, at my shop.
Hmm.
Um, but I need to make a new hypnosis commercial. Like it's been, like yeah, it's like oh here's this guy with a buzzed head, and then it's like oh fuck who's this fucking goofer? Like
No,
what's this guy doing? This isn't who I signed up for.
but listen, like even your wallpaper right now, it's perfect. You can just really talk and just remove the cat thing. The what is
Sorry,
this?
shithead and Leon, you guys are getting the boot.
At the
You guys are getting the boot. But
yep,
yeah,
they don't watch it there. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, they're not. I have the doors shut right now, so they
Oh,
can't come in and
nice.
join. But
Love it.
yeah, I don't know. I like I used to do the hypnosis with like the um you know cases similar somewhat to yours. Like I wouldn't charge
Um,
for it. That was the one thing I wouldn't charge for.
why?
Um, because it's like what it can do in fucking 2 hours. Like I just saw what it was doing, and like the way that I do it is different than other people for that one. Like I've specifically dialed in that, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like it's something that it's important to be able to do it, and like the fact that a lot of people like there's that you can say I'm triggered now and like oh, I'm just not going to worry about this shit and it'll be fine like you're saying then it's going to come back bigger and like it's like oh fuck I wish I would have done something earlier and you can't and like if you don't like me I don't know why you're listening if you don't like me but if you're someone else who like gets the message that's like oh like there's somebody who can do this like go find another hypnotist like that's the path you want to be on. If it's not me, I don't give a fuck. But like hypnotists can do this. There's other ones. It might not be like mine, but it'd probably be on the right path, at least that you should be on. If you can find one that you groove with, there's what you should do. Like with you, like with um, your real estate. Like people are finding you because they groove with you, and it's like okay, that's who
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna work with and there's a lot of fucking other agents out there
Yeah,
and they can go there but you know what they're coming to you and that's the that's what you do.
yeah. I would just say for you, 10x. I'm not even saying double down anymore. Like if you can not even double down, okay, you know what doubling down on marketing looks like. Can you do 10? Can you aim for so high, educating your prospect on who you are, what kind of impact you're making. That way, all they have to do is just pick up the phone and call you. You know, if you can really just focus on the marketing, you don't need to do anything else because essentially you too are a salesperson. You're just selling a different product. You're selling a service, but the service that you're selling is so healing and is so necessary. I love that graph that you shared with me, um, about what was it like, an average person can go to a therapist for like a couple of hundred times, and maybe after they find the perfect therapist, they start healing things. What was the other one? Was it?
Or but then like what you can do with the hypnotist
It was
but
like
then it's
six
only like
sessions.
yeah but I can probably do it in one
Oh
uh
yeah, yeah.
whatever but like uh it but then it's like 96 97% like gonna stick just after that like whereas
Hmm.
like you got probably I think a 38% chance of it when you're doing it with and
therapy.
over hundreds of fucking appointments with
Mm-hmm. Yep.
a
Yeah. A
psychiatrist,
therapist. Yeah.
psychologist, therapist,
Yeah.
counselor, or whatever,
Yeah.
and you have like a 30% chance that it's going to be better.
Yeah. It's actually very sad. And if that's not proof that our medical industry is screwed, and really it's it's just there as a cash cow, essentially. They're just there for your money. You just kind of start figuring different ways of healing yourself. And I write that in my book as well. For me, it was I got fortunate enough of my aunt from Germany who practices suzhou therapy, which was very similar to acupuncture. And she didn't really do much but put needles into my hand. And then within 30 minutes, she gave me that little boost of energy that I needed. Because I don't know if you've ever experienced depression, I don't want to assume, but yeah, let's just say, at least I think we
Yes.
all have at some point in our life. Like when you're depressed, your energy is so freaking low, you don't even feel yourself. You can't feel the energy. You want to be happy, you want to be normal, but you're not, because you're sad and you're just, if everything feels so dark and so heavy. And that's what I was going through at the time. I didn't even want to see my aunts. And I'm so fortunate to have had my mom there to say, hey, I'll drive you there, like, let's go. And that's how I was fortunate enough to get the acupuncture. And that's what really gave me that little booster jump of like, okay, they're coming to reality. What do you want to do now? Like, go live your life. What does your living your life to your best ability look like? And that's, I feel like that's what you do as well, Rusty. Like it's almost it's a power boost for things that people, I think a regular person doesn't really comprehend or even think about going into when they go under hypnosis. Whereas with therapy, they immediately have this assumption that a doctor who has a PhD, therapist, right, who also should have a PhD, that they immediately will solve their problems. Like I did go through to therapy as well when I was going through my depression, and I felt so disappointed. I was like, Jesus Christ, is this therapy? Like I don't feel better than if anything, I feel worse when before I came in. Like I feel worse leaving than I did coming in. Like what the fuck? And it's not because the therapist tried to, tap into my pain. No, she was just like, all right, okay. Mm-hmm. Tell
I'll
me
bring it
more.
back.
Uh-huh. And it's like, okay, seriously? This is it? I could I think I have a better therapeutic sessions with my friends than I did with the therapist that I didn't know. It just felt very inauthentic for me. And I think that's where we go back to. It's an authenticity, and people can, I think they can sense that, unless you're
Yes.
so depressed. But luckily, I guess I wasn't, but I really did not like that therapist. And I was just like, nope, this is the last time. Fuck this. Like, I'd rather go heal myself than go through a therapist, pay them a couple of $100 just so they can take notes about what the hell I told them, and then go talk shit about me behind my back to their fucking friends. I don't know. This is crap that comes through my head. Yeah, versus hypnosis, we're really going deep into where the pain has derived, and that's that pain that's kind of dictating who you are now, even though that pain came from your childhood, which was like what, 20-30 years ago.
And
A therapist won't be able to do any of that.
you don't have to tell me anything, even if you don't like
Yeah.
that whole thing. You don't have to tell me. You can have it all
Yeah.
in your head, work through it,
Yes.
and like I'm like I don't know what she was doing. She was just sitting there like with a shovel and doing some stuff, and I don't
Right.
know, like,
But
well,
it was great because you facilitated this entire journey so well. And yeah, it was beautiful. In my head, I'm like, oh my God, like there's just so much happening. There was a moment. Oh yeah, yeah. You asked me, you're like, let's go to childhood when you were like 3 or 4 years old, and immediately the number one biggest pain point that I always refer to popped into my head when you said, go back to when you were 3 or 4. And tears started to pour through me while I'm in hypnosis. And I'm like, oh, we're going to go here then. And you were like, you were prepared to have this happy, joyful moment. And I'm going dark. I'm like, this is what happened. And you're like, oh, snap.
Let's go
Okay.
there.
Yeah. But what I admired and loved about that is you were so open. You were just like, okay, take me, guide me. What else do you see? And you've really helped kind of, it almost felt like you were there with me when I was 3 years old, and you were the adult kind of facilitating this whole situation that I was going through. It was a very, like I said, it was a traumatic experience for me at 3 years old. Um, and yeah, you facilitated it so well. I think like now, even now, talking about it just feels good, because I feel like I feel safe. Whereas when I was 3 years old, up until before the hypnosis, it felt like it was just me against everybody else. It was very, very hard. So it feels less harsh now after the hypnosis. So
And I mean, I don't know, because like I was talking to a guy a while back, uh, and I was talking about how like if I'm, in some sort of state like hypnosis or you know, tripping balls or something, as the kids say, sometimes,
mhm.
and like I'm like, oh man, I got to make sure I don't fucking have a bad trip, like, and then he said, no, you're at the time where it's the you're like at your best place to be able to deal with that part right there. Go and like if that thought comes up, fucking hit it, grab it, and be like, "Yo, fucker, let's go, let's figure this out." And I was like, that's a good point. And so like that's kind of what I feel like with hypnosis. Like you're at the best place to be able to deal
Yeah.
with that right then. Like let's just fucking you're not going to have a better time to do it. Let's just do it and then it's done, and nothing will be as impactful anytime you deal anything that could bring it back up next
Yep.
time. So I don't know. Go
It was
for it. Go
great.
for it. It's cool.
It was
Yeah, thank
great.
you.
Yeah, it was great. Keep doing it. Keep promoting it, because yeah, I'm don't deprive, just like what I said in my book, don't deprive people of your gift. And that's a gift, Rusty. Like I can't do what you do. Um, and like I said, huh?
Maybe you could. I bet you
Maybe, but
could.
I don't have the desire.
Okay,
Therefore,
yeah.
yeah, therefore that there's a lack of passion. So maybe I could be, right? But like that's not what I want to do. I love talking about it. I love experiencing it, but to be a hypnotist, see, I can't even get the terminology right. Yeah, I don't have that desire. Whereas for you, like if that's your desire, and you're really good at it, and I can see a lot of fulfillment there. I think you just need to really like double down and explore it more. Allow yourself to explore what it's like to be a best-selling hypnotist.
Oh,
you
I'm getting
know yeah,
hypnotized here right now.
there you go. See, there you
Yeah,
go. Nice.
got me in the right state.
Nice.
I mean, yeah, it's I don't know. There hasn't been, yeah, many things that I am good at, but this is one. This is one I'm good at. So
We all say
I'll
that,
take
but
it.
yes, I think you got to really focus on your strengths, and I don't want to say develop your weaknesses, but continue to expand on your strengths, because you don't know what your limit is. I don't think I told you this. I said this to a couple of people already in the last few weeks. I may have told you, I don't remember, but I haven't told your audience. So my favorite number is more. and my favorite experience is more. And so I always push for more because you don't know what your limit is. So why would you limit yourself because you assume that you've hit your limit? Now you're limiting yourself. Therefore, I always aim for more. Am I content? Am I happy with what I have? Absolutely. But can I aim for more? Absolutely. And I should. Let it always, like, what else you got? Kind of a thing, I love to continue to expand. Like I love allowing myself to explore. I love allowing myself to observe and learn. So it's like, well, how do you know you've learned everything? How do you know everything? You don't. Well, so why are you limiting yourself?
Why?
Same with, like, okay, you won 50,000 a year or 100,000 a year. Why are you limiting yourself?
You're already making that.
I
Why not
mean,
make more?
sure, you can be content with 50 to 100, whatever. You can be content with 20, right? It doesn't matter, but why are you limiting yourself?
Yeah. Why not?
I
Put
don't
some
know. That's just me.
goals.
That's why I say, like, more.
More.
Yeah, like, and
More.
it's not coming from a place of greed. It's coming from a place of curiosity. Like, okay, here's my goal, but I'm gonna try to overachieve. And it's not a perfectionism or overachieving perspective, but again, curiosity. Like, okay, cool. This is my goal. Can I meet it? If I can meet it, great. I'm happy, obviously, right? I'm gonna celebrate myself, but let's shoot for higher. Maybe, reach for the sky, or what is it? Reach for the stars, you might, or shoot for the stars and you might land in the moon, type of a phrase, right? So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I come from.
Yeah. And so then that's where you come from. That's where you are.
Think bigger. Yep. Hmm.
Yeah. And so if people want to find you, because that's where you are, that's how they'll
Yeah.
find you. How are they going to
Yep.
find you? How are they going to get your book?
So how are they gonna get my book? Yeah, Rusty, you tell them. You tell them.
Shoot. You can search it. You can search,
I'm pretty
uh,
Googleable, actually. Yeah.
I guess
You
that'd
can.
probably be easier.
Yeah. You probably can just Google me. It's Aya Hoja, Ayahoja. My book is Getting Lost in the Sauce. It is on Amazon, written by my given birth name and last name. So it's Aigul Hodradova. Made a conscious decision to write from my birth name rather than Aya Hodra, which is a short version or like a nickname. So, and yeah, you can find me on Google. I'm on almost all social media platforms as Aya Hodra. And yeah, I would love to stay in touch with your
Me
listeners.
too.
Yeah.
Me too. Um, well, cool. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, it was great getting to talk with you, and I'll have you back on probably in a few months if you're up
Yeah,
for it.
I'm up for it. Maybe we do May 4th. Ooh,
May 4th. That would, yeah,
yes.
okay. That sounds good. We can do that. You got it. I'll
Boom.
get that. Boom. I'll throw
Boom
it in there.
and awesome. And I'm gonna do my best to not disappoint your listeners as well as mine. And actually publish the revised version. And the months have been going by so freaking fast. So I'm gonna really have to sit down and revise
By May 4th.
by May 4th. Yeah.
There it is. You heard it
There
first, or second,
you
or
heard
third, or something. But you heard it.
that. You heard it.
Perfect. All right. Well,
Yeah.
have a great rest of your day. And
Thank you, Rusty. You're the best.
you bet I thank you. Thank you. All right. That's Aya Hoja. So yeah, holla at her. Because I said so. Get a hold of her. Get her book. I read it, so you can read it. What you gonna do? Read a book, dog. And that is the show. is the show, man. That is the show, man. Oh no, that is the show, man. I'm gonna get it. That's the show, man. Boom.
It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker. It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker.